Hello, gang, and welcome to another narrative from yours truly, Project Lucifer. I'm doing my first pilot episode and hope you enjoy these spooky and spine-chilling stories. And of course, if you like these compilation narratives, please subscribe. And if you have a story of your own that you would like to be featured, please send them to projectlucyferproductions@gmail.com. And as always, stay spooky out there. So, if any one of your listeners have ever experienced a poltergeist, they might be able to relate. For a backstory in my experience, I had a friend once who I was roommates with for a while. Though while living together, I could tell she had some weird energy about her and carried some bad vibes. Or so it felt. We don't hang out anymore. And some weird things would happen at times. I can't say if she had some type of attachment to her, though my friend had major poltergeist experiences and the aftermath was pretty bad when she lived by herself. When she moved into an apartment with myself, that's when things started happening as well. I was home alone and sitting in the living room doing college homework when all of a sudden I heard crinkling sounds, like someone was messing with the bag of licorice that was on a counter. It honestly made my skin crawl, as I always felt like I was being watched many times before. After I would look up to check in on a noise, it stopped every time, and it continued to do so many more times after this. However, I looked down one last time to continue my work when the bag of licorice just flew right off the counter aggressively. Needless to say, I pretty much threw my laptop and ran out of my apartment with my PJs on. I just went for it. I just had to get out of there. It was certainly hard to live with these type of experiences happening around me more, especially when they're more commonplace. And a couple months later, my now ex-boyfriend, he was a loser, got locked into my bedroom and the door handle would not open. He kept trying to get out of there and it just wouldn't open. So suddenly it just let loose, like someone just let go of the handle, like someone was trying to grab it from the other side. I know that freaked him out as well. All I can say is the stuff did eventually stop when I stopped hanging around with my friend. And I hope, however she's doing right now, that, she gets that attachment and that energy away from her. And all I can say is, I don't want nothing to do with that anymore. So I just want to start out with mentioning that I am a big paranormal diehard, if you will, and believe it or not, I don't spook that easily. I love to look into lore and investigate stories relating to the Wendigo, skinwalkers, Bigfoot, you name it. My wife and my 2 kids, we love to explore. We found an amazing and very cozy small cabin that was available for daily rentals, on websites such as Airbnb and Vrbo. But instead of going up north like most Midwesterners do, we went south of the state of Minnesota, not too far from Rochester. When we got to the cabin, it was tucked away on a property more toward the woods that was adjacent to a house that was not too far away, which we believe it was currently vacant. We had an amazing first day and night there. We were able to stargaze while my wife, who is also a photographer, took photos in the night sky. I know throughout the day I kept smelling weird scents of sulfur and almost like a rotting flesh smell, but weirdly enough, it was in some random areas at random times of the day. When we went out on a second night and did more stargazing with photos, it was so eerily quiet. That night, even the crickets were making no noise at all. And to top it off, it seemed so much darker than the first night we were there. I honestly had a weird feeling, like a dreadful feeling, that creeps up on you slowly, where your body realizes it, but your brain isn't quite there yet to feel it too. When we made our way back, I stood next to the campfire we made that almost faded. I thought I would get a couple more quick photos before we went to bed, as my wife and our dog was on the porch waiting for me. Though, before you know it, I heard a weird sound. It sounded like an excessive deep breathing and panting, like a beast would make, only much deeper than you would think a bear would make, and with it, it sounded like the breathing had many layers of vocals added to it, if that makes any sense. And I felt and heard whatever it was moving my way at a very, very fast speed. My heart literally sunk down to the pits of my stomach, and my face turned pale white. As this sound, whatever it was, felt like it was coming at all angles, and it was right in my ears. I grabbed the camera and tripod and sprinted to the door the fastest I could. My wife and dog didn't even know what on earth was going on. When I reached the porch, I tried to compose myself and asked my wife to quickly shine the flashlight out toward the surrounding fields. And with my surprise, not only did I not hear anything anymore, we also did not see anything out there. We quickly went back inside the cabin where the kids were already fast asleep in the bedroom they shared. I told my wife of the experience I just had, and she seemed so confused as she did not hear or feel anything out there, and stated how I just out of the blue ran toward her like my life was on the line. We stayed up for a while, but my wife finally fell asleep, but for some reason I couldn't shake the feeling something or someone was waiting for us to come back out. I looked out the bedroom window where a floodlight covered so much ground, and I was almost certain whatever laid beyond that light, it was there, watching me. I tried to lay down and get some rest, but unfortunately, even more things started to happen. I started to hear little sounds on the roof of the cabin, almost like someone tossing small rock pebbles on the roof, and they would roll down and hit the ground. This seemed to happen quite frequently. I started hearing muffled voices like there was a conversation between two people outside somewhere, but I could not make out what they were saying. I questioned if maybe someone was trying to pull a sick prank on us, but realized I'd hear these voices on one end of the cabin, yet 1 second later, those voices would be heard on the other side of the cabin. It just didn't make any sense. I thought I was honestly going crazy, and as luck would have it, we had an outdoor bathroom that was about 15 feet from the cabin, and it might be sad to admit, but I definitely went pee in a bucket inside the cabin. I couldn't bring myself to go back outside, and I kept hearing these voices and pebbles rolling down the roof on the cabin for another solid 2 hours before I finally managed to fall asleep. Thankfully, nothing happened beyond this. We were set to leave the next morning, so I packed up fast and we got out of there. To this day, I still can't come up with any logical explanation of what happened there, but what I can tell you is, I certainly don't want to find out. Hi folks, thank you so much for tuning in and listening to the stories that were shared. We have so much more content coming and we hope that you subscribe. And once again, if you have a story that you'd like to be featured, please reach out and let us know. Hopefully we can get that on here for you. And we will catch you on the next one.